Can I get a... Oh, buddy. Oh, baby. I wonder why I'm doing this timer. It makes it feel more official. Treat it like it's New Year's. 3, 2, 1, yay. Hello, everybody. What happened to Gecko? I guess I gotta load this up, huh? My Gecko. Did I freeze? Oh, am I still here? My mouse died? My trackball! Oh, my trackball's back. I'm still waiting. I'm really shocked I haven't frozen on stream yet. Shift, 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 boom, boom. And now it's hiding in the corner where it belongs. And we hit it with that. But yeah, we're back to the grind. We're back to surf the internet. 88 cards. It's interesting how consistent the number of cards is every night. I kind of want to go on another one of those pushes where I just like stack like a couple hundred cards and grind them all out in a day or two and get them reviews up. Don't hit me with these freebies. I don't know why. There's a button to say I'll never forget. Actually, yeah. Let me just go back and hit it. Ojikezuku. Yeah, this one I was going to say, it's not Kawaji Ketsuku. I don't remember how to... It's not common. Oh yeah, there's Osoreru. But I didn't say Oso, I said oh. Oh, that's why. Do I gotta zoom in? Why is it formatted so strangely? Oh. So when it's half screen, I've never dealt with that issue before. But how's everyone's days doing? My day went, I guess I'd say it went well. I had to sit through some insane traffic because there's always crashes. Getting through Houston, it was somewhat expected, but then I was on the 10 in Louisiana, thought I was out of it, and then someone decided to just like, I guess I didn't see the other vehicle, but once he finally got past the crash, there was just this pulverized sports car. I don't know the extent of the damage, but I know it did stop the highway for a little while. Ojikezuku. But then I've got full day on Sunday to make, like use of my whole clock, hopefully, and then deliver this stupid load of onions by Monday. Sakuho. Saho. And then this is Ishizuki. I was looking at another word that I thought was this, but it was not. It was Tototsu. I don't know why I mixed them up. I was so determined to remember that word that means nothing to me, but Shoho-sen. Taishoho. That's what I meant. Teikeibun. Teikeibun. Nozoku? Hansho? Gomen, Hansho してる. Hansho. Hansei. Son of a... You know what it is too? I think I always think of the word, when I want to think of reflection, I think of mose. This one. Serious reflection, soul searching, penitence. See, that's just the type of guy I am. I don't do Hansei, I do Mose, okay? Then, Sinai. Sinai is a dark place. That's a mnemonic right there. But yeah, over here I've got I'm going through like Neo cities and stuff, trying to find this person. They've got kind of the vibes I like, keeping or like collecting digitally, I suppose, bits of culture that they like to keep. And yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm after. Online antique show. So yeah, that's kind of what one of the things I'm after. And then I'm on Reddit to see what other, you know, kind of sites I can scroll through based on their peculiarities. Saenai. Uh, Gucci Monku.
Gucci.
Gucci. It ain't no belt. Tsuneru.
連ねる。
Tsuraneru. Oh. Hogo.
保護にする。
Zawazawa. Rustly.
ざわざわ。
Noisily. Yeah. Anytime I get an onomatopoeia right, it's a good time. Haregi.
切れ端。
Kirehashi. You know what? Yura won't die. This list has kind of been sitting there. I need to like actually hit it probably soon, like with some, SRS or whatever, or like a grind, but we'll get it. 精を出す。
精を出す。
精を出す。Am I crazy? Kachi hokoru?
勝ち誇る。
Yeah. 取り入れる。
取り入れる。
Mosaic.
モザイク。
Usually for such shit. We know all about the mosaic. Unerigoe. Unarigoe.
うなり声。
Unarigoe. Oh. And then the keen-eyed observers will notice I've had the same Wikipedia article sitting here for like 2 streams, several days, that I haven't actually read. It's right on the line of where I'm like, should I just, is this good enough for me to try and just read on stream, or
半歩。
leave it to my own, affectations? Orthodox? Orthodox.
オーソドック
Orthodox.
ス。
Can't believe I just mixed up so on like I didn't get that down pat 2.5 years ago. Keyakusha. Konyakusha.
婚約者。
Konyakusha. It's not Busomono. What am I?
武将髭。
Busho Hige. Wow. So yeah, I was thinking of Bushomono. Okay, that's a pretty good maybe to write down. I could almost do that tomorrow. I thought I had a different word planned for tomorrow, though. Busho Hige. Yeah. Let's, well, I was gonna do like a little halfway split, but then I realized y'all won't see the browser. I guess it doesn't matter. But then I'll look like I'm just getting it all from who you'll never know, so I'll do that real quick. Look how fast I type. Boom. Nothing spirit of life beard. Okay, actually, yeah, do it like this. This is how I format. Boom, 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 and then just you erase. Oh, don't erase everything. And we're just about there. I'll find an example sentence later. Oh, what did I do? Whoa, what did I do? Oh, we're back. Anyways, Busho Hige. Amilace? Thread lace? Thread?
ファミレス。
Oh, family. family restaurant, huh? Tohatsu.
突破。
Toppa. Pulverized state.
粉状。
Unjo. Tao. Yeah, this is one where I had to look up
タウ。
what Tao was, and then I forgot it. Oh man, it might also be a movie I wasn't that fond of. If I, or maybe I'm thinking of Tar, the one with Kate Blanchett. I think was that Kate Blanchett? There was another because then there was another one that I was thinking of where like I think it was Julia Roberts, directed by that director I love, but the movie I wasn't exactly the. It came out late last year about like the cancel culture or whatever with Andrew Garfield as well. Uh, After the Hunt, yeah. But then same thing with Tar, where I guess the reason I was thinking of them both, they involve like the female professors who are kind of like pushing back against their class. Yeah, at some point in the movie. Oh yeah, okay, this is Tao. Probably won't forget it now. It has a lot of symbols. It's a symbol of this, that, and therever. Okay, I would leave it open, but as I always say, I'm trying to be nice to my laptop.
印。正しい答えに印を
Mechirushi is a landmark.
されるがまま。
されるがまま. Uh, on the bottom of Mondai, I'll keep this. Oh yeah, so I didn't end up doing Soba, and I was still thinking about Nukemichi, but it's really similar to, I did a word for Uramichi, or it's a little too similar for my taste, so I might erase that, but then, sareru, gamama. We might do that one later. Yuchaku.
癒着。
Yuchaku, not
スポー
Yuchaku.
ツ界は
Yuchaku. Kansan?
換算。
Kansan.
市場は
I think I did that as a daily. Madogiwa.
窓辺。
Madobe. Kotai.
交代。
Kotai.
彼は全身も交代も住まいと決めた。
Come together. Right now. Burr, burr, burr. Karawa.
俵。
Tawara. Ono.
斧。
You want some genius mnemonics? Oh no, he's got an X. There you go. Give that one for free. One day I'll sell my secrets for free as well.
一滴。
Itaki.
水は一滴も
Shizumari Gairu.
静まり返る。
Roko. It's like filtered.
ろ過。
Roka. It's crazy. I wonder man, one day they'll figure out like neuroscience and then they'll be able to see how like that sits somewhere in the brain, but like, imperfect. Zakoku.
穀物。
I mean,
家族は
kokumotsu.
皆穀物の収穫に出てい
Once
た。
again, I mean, anyone who knows the actual word I'm thinking of doesn't need to see me type it out, but I think of that and not this. So sad. Kokumotsu.
穀物。
Kokumotsu. Boom, 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 boom. I forget why the seven flavors thing was significant, unless it was just like literally marketing or something.
七味。
But yeah, I was thinking like I was gonna push back to myself about like getting a new laptop for the streams or whatever. But I kind of want to do like some like little reacting to videos and shadowing along, like reading with the subtitles and everything. But uh, I need a new laptop for that. But I was also just not gonna do that for mostly money, but and I've spent money recently that I maybe shouldn't have, but it would be nice because then it would be more practical than literally just grinding the vocab. Because as much as I get addicted to flashcards, I've got to start doing some practical study.
約束を守る。
Oh man, this one though,
喫煙。
喫煙.
喫煙はあなたに良くない。
It's always brutal when you recognize the meaning, but the meaning, knowing the meaning is not that helpful. Aburu.
炙る。
Just see smoke in so many things, and I'm like, well, it's not shokyakuro. It's not tsuchikemuri.
ままに。
It's not tsuchibokuro. It's not, and then you just kind of start branching off into words that have nothing to do with the word you're looking at. Jinai, Magua, Orime,
折り目。
Otokui-san. And this one's not tatami, so it's like Ju or Jo.
上。
Joel. Oh, okay, we'll let this one
購
sit.
買層。
Kobaiso. Come join the group, buddy. Oh yeah, I need to organize my assets because I'm just filling the downloads folder, and then I gotta switch it in my, like where my OBS is if I'm gonna do that. It's gonna become a mess, but I kind of want to get it done because this nonsense right here is no bueno. Where did Buddy end up? He needs to join the club. Hello. I kind of want him to be really tiny. And like hanging out close by. Maybe not like that. Oh wait, that's the text. That looks good. Oh, maybe not. Just maybe that corner. Because it seems too on the nose to have him next to the skulls, doesn't it? Unless it's like he's getting lava puked on. I'll pick a place for this pumpkin, don't you all worry. I think part of it is that I keep putting him, it's like OBS snaps it somewhere, but then it still feels off. I think I'll have him sit down there. I might rethink that one later. It's so close to just working perfectly. Oh, this person's making some of these. Saltbox Creek. And then what was the word? Oh, kobaisho. I kind of let that sit and marinate in the back burner, and then I see it again. Somehow it feels like it helps a lot of words. Not found. Your site's broken, bud. The dangerous thing about clicking on these Neocities, I found out like just a few minutes ago before the stream that some of them have spicy material that they kind of don't warn you about. So I had this idea for streaming where it's like you stream on a delay, but then you have access to a thing that can cover your screen like immediately. So it's like if you encounter something unsightly or, TOS, you can just like block it before it ever actually shows up on stream. That would be something I like to implement. So let's be careful because I don't know what they mean by role play either. Oh, this is a heavy NeoCities. NeoCities, the vibe of NeoCities, my friend, is to be like really light. I can barely see these sketches, and I'm trying to determine. This artist seems say so enough. Oh, this is it. Oh, there you go. We we pretty much browsed the gallery. Looks pretty cool though. Not bad at all. A little heavy though. Like I said, if you're gonna make a Neo City, make it really shitty or like uh like nostalgic for an era you may not have even been in. But oh, this is kind of sick though. Whoa, I see the word adult. I don't, I don't know about that. What the? Let me see what you're talking about. I don't feel safe. I need an adult. I'll maybe check it out later. But this is what I was saying though. This is dangerous territory. I should probably vet, you know, these sites. Is the formatting? Is it some way that I've got this, or do these people literally not know how to make their website? Maybe I need to do a little zoom technique. Yeah, it's so scuffed. Perfect. Okay. Oh yeah, they are saying it's like really weird. But then they're not saying anything about, some TOS art, so let's be careful here, but oh, okay. Because once again with the style, you never know. Oh, it's just why am I doing? I actually like this art though. Can I can I swipe that? Oh, and it's already a GIF. I don't have to do some weird conversion. And then credit to our friend Ren here. I want to zoom in right on it, but chartreuse.neocities.org, who I'm just going to steal those assets from. Kobaisho.
購買層
I mean, Kobaiso. See, I let that word sit and just like mold in my head. And, well, not mold as in fit into a shape, but mold as in rot. Kusaru, it did. My memory is kusataing. Kobaiso. Does this person have a? Yeah, she fits right in there. Pretty much. Maybe I'll mess with the colors a bit. Because, like, the contrast, like, the eyes, everyone else around her moves, and the GIF moves, but it's ever so slightly. We'll let it sit there, though. Oh. It's a mating season, but I never remember how to say it.
繁殖期
Or breeding season, I should say. Hanshokuki. Man, why am I struggling with these? Axercos, welcome back. Hi, coming here to lurk. Will you be my background noise? Of course I will. That's like my dream is to be background noise. Cheers,
余裕
bud.
しゃくしゃく
Peak. Let's go, bud. How you doing? I'm doing pretty splendidly. Got parked in well, I guess I was disappointed. I parked in this one spot in Louisiana and I was just dying for some boudin and cracklings. Uh I don't know if you've ever had that. I believe you're European, but uh they've got, I don't even know what it's made out of in Louisiana cuisine, but God, it slaps. And I was looking forward to some because this place has a little like restaurant slash hot box. I don't even know what it is. Oh man, I have the power of the internet at my hands. But popular Cajun sausage from Louisiana, traditionally made from a savory, spicy mix of cooked. Oh, my enemy AI. But uh, yeah, it's this like sausage type stuff, and God, I love it. But you don't get to have too much of it outside of Louisiana, so yeah, boudin. That's how we say it, and then I know it's like French in origin, and I believe you speak French, so I didn't understand it said the American way. That's funny because, of course, I think the first time anyone ever reads this in America as a kid, you're like, oh, it's boudin, and then I was always told, no, it's boudin, and I'm like, okay, if you say so. It's like every other word in the English language. You just kind of learn it send one way and then you internalize it. And then they also have this stuff cracklings. Of course, I speak French. I'm French. Yeah, I was just making sure. But uh, even though the word is French, but I'm sure that we butcher the pronunciation when we adopt it. Cracklin, cracklins, and they've got this stuff as well. Oh no, wait, maybe cracklins is not what I thought it was. But yeah, there's a Louisiana thing as well. I don't have this too much, but I love the boudin. Germans do it better anyway. Pronounce boudin, or they are they better at butchering French? Um, or isn't that the whole country of Belgium? I don't know. I would love to get into like pretend I'm part of some like cultural banter between like Germans, French, Belgians, and all that, but or like the Flemish, but I barely know anything about it. Germans are better at making boudin, really? I guess they do make making like all sorts of sausage over there. Yo, you shaku shaku.
余裕しゃくしゃく。
LMAO, yeah. And by the way, I'll keep responding, but make sure that if you want to lurk, feel free to do so because I wouldn't want to keep you
お
from
任せ。
sleeping
ご
or
想
working
像
or
にお
whatever you're
任せし
doing.
ます。
Uh, Man, I feel like I lost a thought though in the midst of the banter. Something about oh yeah, just like this place, the hot box was or like it was close or like there was no food in it, and then the hours said I'm a cook and work on some project of mine. Nice, but yeah, the hot box had no food in it, and I was pretty disappointed because then the hours made no sense. So it was like on the weekdays it was like 8 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. And I think I was there before 8 p.m. and I was like looking at the no food, but then I saw Saturday and Sunday they close at 4, which is madness to me. Yumeo,
夢を追う。
uh, because man, every kitchen I ever worked in, which was several, you know, they there weren't that kind. I guess maybe, but it didn't even seem like a personal operation, like a one chef with their passion type thing, where they took the weekends partly off. It was just like a hot box full of like stuff that was kind of slop, but the slop I love. Kiriyaku,
切り開く。
kirihiyaku,
山を切り開
kiraku.
いて新しいトンネルが掘られた。
Now I want to actually learn. Because I always just took the people's words for it, how to pronounce Budan. Uh-oh. American pronunciation.
Boudin.
Oh, what? Uh-uh. See, this channel, though, this Julian Mikkel guy, I don't trust this channel at all. I'm not gonna click on that. r/Houston, how do you pronounce Boudin? Oh, look at this. Have I been humiliating myself by saying Boudin all these years? And while we're on the subject, who makes the best Boudin in town? Is there that much good Boudin? First response, Boudin. This is not one of those things Houston does well. I've never had particularly great Boudin slash pork tassels or cracklings as Houston. I was thinking about that. Houston's a bit, I mean, I know there's a lot of culture in Houston that, because there's a lot of people. Boudin is close to the real way IMO. I'll have to look up on my own time later, uh, like a French pronunciation, unless Okay, I'll see if because every time I swear, every time I open up YouTube, it's a toss up on how it just the its ability to load. Look it up in French, I'll tell you. Well, this one has a French flag on it, so I'm trusting that the uploader is French or got a an accurate French TTS or something. I love
Welcome to how to pronounce.
and yeah, I love being like nitpicky about pronunciations and stuff. This is my favorite thing. So I will take all the time to learn how to pronounce one word.
In today's video, we'll be focusing on a new word that you might find challenging or intriguing.
Oh, it's like AI.
So without further ado, let's dive into today's word, boudin, which means a
Boudin.
French blood sausage.
Udon.
Let's
Bon.
say it all together.
My experience in French was just years ago doing like a little Duolingo. It is the good way to say it. All right, heard that. Yeah, it sounded French to me. And then I think besides that, I think I watched a video or two because it was also like everyone else. I wanted to be able to, like I wanted to be able to do like the très bien, and I think I got it pretty good at one point. But then, obviously I didn't study French or anything, so any little progress I made would have
So
been
without further
gone
ado,
soon.
let's dive into today's word, boudin.
Udon, udon, and it's a blood sausage apparently. My notification doesn't want to load, and it's for an upload I already knew happened. Kirihirak. Yeah. Yeah, French seems fun, especially because the only thing about French is like I get tired. Well, like in the language learning space, when you especially Boudon Noir, uh, in a it just gets old to hear people say like English, the pronunciation makes no sense. Well, like obviously, but then or like this how the spelling doesn't match the word. But then I hear French is like if there's any language that's worse about it than English, it's French. So I'd love to be able to like uh uh dunk on the only language I can as far as like your orthography makes no sense.
不要。
Yo, or to be able to prove to myself that it like doesn't matter because you know I get tired of people complaining about it in English because it's like just do your grind, get it all down. Your brain will remember eventually. French and English are really close on a whole lot of words. Yep, because we took so much language from the French and had a close history. Now actually, what the heck is this word?
自己し。
Jikoshi. All right, we'll write that one down. Of course, if I had all the time in the world and was immortal, I'd love to study every language and go to every place that ever existed. They're right next to each other and like to fight each other like siblings, so yeah. And then it's I think I've listened to an audiobook or two on the particular history, not only the development of English itself, but just like the peoples and their history. And then the only thing I remembered is like childish stuff, like that everyone else like that aren't even that many fun facts because I learned a lot of people knew this, but like how like the French used to know the English as the goddamn, because like they didn't speak English or anything, but they heard them saying that constantly, like on the battlefield and whatever, or like whenever they interact with them, they're like they say goddamn a lot. They're the goddamn. uh, I want to say like chokoto, chikoku,
該当。
gaito.
この条件に
Umofuton. Umofuton?
羽毛布団。
Umofuton. I don't know. When I go to the beach on a good day, I can see England, and I'm like, oh yes, the enemy on the other side of the sea. French is interesting. My dad went to France, and he was telling me a lot of stuff that was contrary to what I hear, was as far as
まかな
what the discourse on the internet about, especially because he was. It's not like he was just somewhere else in France. He was in. They went to Paris, and I was like, oh, I heard they're like assholes, or depending on, you know, the situation you're in, or like that the streets like it's smelly even more than like a regular city or whatever. You live in Paris? Do you ever feel like there's propaganda on the internet or that people give Paris a bad rap? Cause yeah, I heard all sorts of stuff about, or like cause you hear about that Paris syndrome that a lot of people, but especially the Japanese experience, where they go and they're like, oh, this sucks, and then they get like depressed because they expected Paris to be nice and it wasn't. But he was saying he was saying it was awesome. And I was like, oh yeah. Uh, there's always conversations I have with people that need like that remind me to like remove how much stock I put into uh like internet uh discourse on like culture and places, or like I was talking to teachers because I heard so much about how kids these days can't read and that the kids are fucked, but then you talk to teachers IRL and a lot of them are like, no, it's the same as it's always been. I think French people talk more shit about Paris than anyone. I think it's a good thing to avoid what you just talked about, the depression thingy. To avoid like discussing it in general, or do you think it's a good thing that Paris talks more shit about Paris so that people have a more balanced image of it? Paris is nice. It's pretty green in some part. Yeah, they smell like piss and rot, but the buildings are stunning. Nice. Yeah, I'd love to go all around Europe, especially for I'm a big fan of like architecture, as far as I'll say almost in theory, because just so much of living pretty much everywhere in America outside the big cities. It's just, everything's a box, everything's a square. That's one of the last thing you said. Good to talk shit to balance expectations. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. But it's like if you're not in like a downtown area, I wish that there's a lot of things that are like actually big problems, but I think as far as small problems that add up, I think it's just that life is kind of boring almost everywhere. And like I have this fantasy of cities having like an aesthetics quotient where it's like you're legally required as a city to put like murals or facades or some sort of interesting architecture that has no real purpose but is pleasing to look at, so that everything is not just a big fucking big box Walmart, or not even Walmart itself, but just everything's a rectangular prism. The buildings aren't fun to look at. Running Feather plays in France, Marseille, which I'm hoping I'm saying. Marseille is really good. Breton, it's cool too. Swimming at times even. Lyon is shit though. I'll keep that in mind. This word always messes me up because I want to say like Yaburu or Kaburu, and it says don't confuse with Koomuru. Oh, I clicked on it by accident.
Kaburu.
Kaburu. That's the thing. If I ever visit, I would probably. I'm the type of traveler where my vibe is to avoid super crowded or touristy. I like to go off the beaten path. Like I always say, I'm just kind of a contrarian. Not always inherently a contrarian by nature, but in some ways I am a contrarian by nature. If I see a lot of people going one place, I'll go like somewhere in the middle, not completely off the beaten path. You can't change the way the buildings look in Paris because the law of Paris is like history protected. That's sick in my opinion, to an extent. As long as there's like, like maybe modern fire code and stuff is respected. But there's some areas where you drive through and it's like a historical downtown, but it's not like they're preserved to be a historical downtown. It's just kind of a shitty place that was like kind of left behind, and it's not really functioning as a town anymore. You just kind of drive through it on your way to a different destination. And I do get tired in a lot of ways when people kind of bully America for some things that are just kind of dumb to bully America for. But one thing that is, I hate like suburbia and sprawl and the general aesthetic of, most of the landscape. It's something I think is a rightful bullying of the way we live.
Yoto.
Yoto. Oh, that was a 15-minute. We still have 19 new items. It's sick, except when the electrical installation is not up to date and you have to make a demand of the government to change the blinds of your window if one broke. It's like a federal HOA, a homeowners association. Of course, it takes at least 7 months. That would be frustrating. But then, yeah, the electrical code. There's this channel I like, Electro Boom. Really funny guy. And then he has videos where he just goes to other. he goes to other countries and looks at their electrical standards and stuff, but it's not like sanctioned. It's not like he goes to places where he's allowed. He just like trips the breakers in his hotel room and stuff and walks around the city and looks at the way their uh everything, the wires that you can see or can't see, or the way there's plugs in the street and the standards and stuff. Saw some pretty frightening safety issues in like Mexico and somewhere else, but then I think it was France, or it was somewhere, maybe it was Switzerland. No, it was Switzerland, where they have everything planned out electrically, where you almost don't see any of the power transfer lines or anything. Everything's like underground or in the walls or everything. That sounds cool. Yeah, check out Electro Boom if you want, because he's got some also just hilarious in general content. I remember laughing. There's some things I laughed at where you still remember years later, like, oh, that was just the hardest I laughed in a long time. And it was like him making a quote unquote electric guitar, but it was just like he connected wires to a outlet and just like, uh, and then just like shocks himself. And it's just like he would make mistakes intentionally just to teach like electrical safety. And he would like in a few things he would pretend to shock himself, but in most of the times he would just intentionally shock himself and then see like, this is why you don't do what I just did. But then as the channel went on, it's been a long time, so then he talks about different topics over time. Some pure comedy, but a lot educational. In Paris, we have big important cables that sometimes touches water. It invalides. It became a joke with time. Is that like a... Oh gosh. I'm gonna learn so much about Paris hanging with you. Les Invalides. Located in Paris' 7th arrondissement. Is a historic complex. AI. I need to stop reading the AI. Just out of pure disrespect. I'll keep that in mind. Because there was I really want to, I want to, now I really want to go back and nail down how to actually pronounce French. Not even if to actually learn it, but just to be able to read what I'm looking at on screen. Because then there's stuff I want to, there was this meme I was laughing at. I hope that this is the name of the subreddit. Because I know that French, one of the things they do that's a lot like Spanish, they have, or at least I don't know if it's exactly like Spanish, where they have these, in the realm of language, a very unique property, at least Spanish does, where they have an actual institution, a body that regulates the language. So like if someone gets into an argument about like the grammar or rules, where in most languages, especially in English, you just kind of go like, well, if people say what they want to say, it becomes part of the language, it's whatever. But in Spanish, they have the Royal Academy of Spanish, the RAE, and so they actually have like a quote unquote law, even though there's no actual law, but they have like a rule book on this is what Spanish grammar and spelling and stuff is, and if you don't do this, you're wrong. But there was this meme I saw that made me laugh pretty hard, which I wish I could actually read out loud. All right, let me backspace on that, because I think it's one of the top posts all time. Oh gosh, come on, Reddit. Come on, Reddit. You can do it. Oh. Is it gonna let me go top all time? There we go. This is embarrassing. Should I or should I not get a new laptop? That's what I'm gonna be asking myself like every day now. Native, huh? French, 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 French. Here it is. French people, when teenagers say email instead of transmission en ligne lettre circulaire mailing lettre de See, it's embarrassing. I have no idea how to actually try and pronounce it. Could just try and upgrade it a bit. I don't know. Like, I guess because it's I've cropped it from my scene on the bottom, Uh, but I guess the RAM is kind of low at this particular moment, but I don't know if that would help it enough. Maybe I should just reinstall the OS and then try and export all my OBS settings and stuff beforehand. Uh, and yeah, these memes, man. I was laughing at this a lot. I would scroll this again. It would feel disingenuous though, because I've already laughed at a lot of this subreddit. So then I would just be like re-laughing at it. I could almost do it again. That thing you just said, we Germans have a word for that. It's that you just said it. Mailing is only in English, so it's what we call Franglais. I relate to that. Spanglish or Nihonglish, the Japanese English. Well, if you like, man, with Japanese music in general, it's crazy how much English they mix in.
心の金銭
Like you almost have to speak both just to like really get, or I guess maybe not. You can kind of just like, because they just kind of throw in English words in a way that is pretty random. Like there was one, and this song I really like. This song is amazing actually, but then I've always wondered what Maureen meant when she put this in. Because there's one point where it's all a Japanese verse, but then she just says like "stay the flashlight," and then I'm like she says here, which says "stop flashback," and I'm like, okay, that makes sense, you know. Uh, I like how it's written in Romaji. Don't go away. 肩すくめてボネットから腰上げて喋りすぎよ。飽きてきたわ。Stay the flashlight. And I'm like, maybe there was like a translation that got auto translated back and forth between English and Japanese one too many times, and it had something to do with like staying in the spotlight, but it got turned into stay the flashlight. That would be my guess as what happened there, because I've never heard anyone explain what the heck she meant when she said stay the flashlight. In French, we stop a lot of English words in our sentences to the point it sometimes bothers me. Like, why do you need to say call instead of appel? Why? It takes the time to say. That happens. I feel like that's happening in every culture where they say that like, it's too much. It happens in Japanese. I'll tell you that. There's like a conservative culture that's saying like no more English loanwords, too much katakana, only Japanese. No more loanwords. And I wonder how many loanwords that they're saying without thinking, because there's a lot of them that have made it deep in their language by now. But because there's a big culture in the youth of just mixing more and more English in slowly. Which I think is definitely fun. And I could see why it would get annoying, though. Especially because, like, the kind of thing you're talking about, too, there's some that are right on the tip of my tongue I can think of, where it's like, you can say something the right way, but then someone wants to say it the wrong way. It doesn't even same time. Ah, man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Maybe I'll think of it at some point. Because there's another one that's like one that always gets to me, and it's kind of the same thing in a way, but it also hits a different aspect of culture that perturbs me, is where you're speaking in English to someone else, you know, one of your peers, like, but they're talking about anime. But you know, we're both English speakers, neither really speak Japanese, but then they have to fill in like, and we're talking about like Naruto or Full Metal Alchemist, but then they're like, "Oh, but uh like you watch Shingeki no Kyojin or SNK?" And of, you know, the first couple times that happened, I was like, never heard of it. And they're like, "Oh, it's what you would call Attack on Titan, but that's like the Japanese title." And I'm like, "Oh, but you know the English title, because you know that we know." You disingenuous fuck. You're not Japanese now, because you like you had to Google what Shingeki no Kyojin meant when you learned that, but you're like, "Oh, but I'm so
洋
cool."
服彼女
Yofuku.
は自分
And the one that always got to me too, especially when it's typed out, it just kind of it. I don't know why it grinds my gears. Is when you see this. You see Boku no Hero. Because look, first of all, we all know the English title is My Hero Academia. But then you want to be, you know, full weeb mode, which is fine. It's not my style. But then, if you're gonna say Boku no, then the Japanese would be hiro, like this. When you say Boku no Hero, when you type out Boku no Hero like this, you're doing Japanglish because hero is not how you would romagify it. It's like a mixing. Like, what's up with that? We didn't even bother to translate in France. It's either the English or original one. That's funny. I would think, because then it's always funny to see what gets translated and what doesn't. Because I like to learn. One thing is with Pokemon. Pokemon's always fun to learn the names of Pokemon because it's always some stupid, like when you think about it, some dumbass pun. But then as a kid, you just kind of learn to accept. Your brain just kind of accepts all of the wordplay and puns that go into the Pokemon. So when you relearn it in another language, you're like, really? It's just like Firebird, but or it's like something, or the whole Articuno. Uh, What's the second one? Moltres. Have I really forgotten Pokemon? I thought that would never leave my brain. Articuno. Man, I'm going crazy. Because I want to say Doduo, but that's not the other. Anyway, you get my point. But then in Japanese, it's also a useful teaching thing to learn in Japanese some of the words, because then you learn the words for like actual normal animals along with the Pokemon, and then you learn some puns. Anime like My Hero Academia is aimed at teenagers who mostly already speak English here. I was, I think I heard some stat about France and like the percentage of English because it's like obviously a lot of people speak English, but then the stats on English speakers worldwide is always interesting because there's people who like self-report as speaking English, but then if you actually talk to them, it's like, uh, I don't know if you can honestly say that you speak English. It's pretty rough, but then you know, most people only speak English. I was talking earlier about stuff that uh I get tired of the bullying on America because America kind of gets bullied on the internet a lot relatively because I guess they also have a lot of cultural reach or there's so much media and just presence of America. But one thing I get tired of is people being like, oh, they're monolingual, and I'm like, well, most people in the world are monolingual, I believe. Like if you travel around and you talk to people like in another country, they hit you, with their native language, and you're just like, oh yeah, you live here. Uh, but then it's the thing is like most Americans are not necessarily monolingual. No, it's not the way people would have you believe, because there's like obviously a shitload of Spanish speakers, but then not even the Spanish speakers, but all the sorts of diaspora from a million different cultures. So far, like I know a bit of people, and I'm social butterfly. I like to go out and meet people. So far, 4 out of 5 people speak English at the same level as me. I'm not the best. Well, you certainly type it, fluently. I guess I could make fun of your accent if I was hearing you speak, but that's not necessary. I'm sure I saw later since in a weird way. Yeah, but dude, the beauty of English though is it seems to be like I think it's like because English speakers are great at like correcting people and finding what's wrong, but at the same time, it's like you can get away with so many mistakes. Whereas I swear, when I talk to when I would talk to my Spanish speaking coworkers in my shitty Spanish, I would mess up like one little phoneme, and then they would act like they don't understand what I'm saying, and then I figure out how to say it correctly, and they're like, "Oh, you meant that." I was like, "That sounds like barely. That sounds like the same fucking word. Do I have to be that accurate with Spanish?" Like sometimes I feel like English has some of the biggest like gray area, so it's like you can make a lot of mistakes but be understood. So it's hard in a way because it's kind of hard to be quote unquote perfect. But even though perfection in a language is very hard to pin down, but at the same time, it means you can get away with a lot. I construct my sentences like I would construct them in French. Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, in your typed or written English, it seems pretty much pinned down. It's crazy too, though. Like I know English is the number one like learned language in the world, but then you like in the language learning space, especially like you read so many comments from people talking about like thanks, glad to hear it. Yeah. But yeah, you talk to so many people and they're like, oh yeah, in Hungarian it's like this, and in Russian it's like this, and in Arabic it's like this, and it's just like everyone's speaking perfect English, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm from this other completely different part of the world, and then you are just like, uh, man,
難しい顔をする
I went to the age of like 25, 26, just being monolingual. It just seems it's disappointing that I never took it seriously as a kid, or uh, I guess never really had the opportunity to as much. I kind of wish I had a neighboring country that spoke a different language, other than Spanish, obviously. But we do. Man, there was one rant I've been waiting to unleash as well, where uh, my mom and I we like to watch the Great British Baking Show, which I think overseas they call it just the Great British Bake Off. But they had a Mexican themed episode where they're doing a lot of baking all around Mexican cuisine, and then people were clowning on it for dumb reasons. Like it almost became a quote unquote like controversy, although a light one, like a stupid internet one where it's not a real controversy. But one of them was because they were like, oh, they're making fun of their culture, which they weren't. They were just like celebrating it. But then the other one that was really getting to me was like Americans were making fun of the British people in the show for not knowing how to pronounce like Spanish words, like they couldn't say guacamole and pico de gallo, and I'm like, hey, dickheads, they're not neighbors with Mexico. They don't have taquerias on every corner like we do in America. That people forget how much Spanish culture is intertwined with us already. That they take it for granted being able to say pico de gallo, or like even people who don't really speak Spanish. It's like, well, uh you speak a lot more of it than you think just by being like we make fun of like the idea of someone saying tortilla, but then you go to someone who doesn't actually have any interfacing with Spanish and they say tortilla and they're like, are you serious, you don't know tortilla? And it's like they don't really have them as much everywhere, that you might not expect that. To be fair, if we want to interact with the world, we don't have a choice but to learn English. Americans are sorry to do so. There's nothing pushing you to learn another language than wanting to. Exactly. But then yeah, the Spanish too, it's like a stat I always love to throw at people is that 1 in 6 Americans speak Spanish at home. 1 in 6 is an insanely huge number. There's like 350 million Americans or something like that. Uh, we have more Spanish speakers than Spain. The only country with more Spanish speakers is Mexico. I mean, percentage-wise, Spain obviously has more, and then everywhere else in South America, besides Brazil, does. But by pure numbers, it's still. But then that's the other pet peeve that I get, where you're trying to study Spanish, and you'll see in the comments someone will be like, well, how do I say this word? Or like, how do I say? I've seen them say like, how do I say cell phone? And then someone is like teléfono, and then some guy from Spain chimes in. They're like, well, if you're really speaking Spanish, it's móvil. But if you're speaking that fake Spanish, it's teléfono. And I'm like, buddy, uh, there's like 12 Latin American Spanish speakers to every one peninsular Spanish speaker. I'm sorry, but you may have been the first, but the Latin American Spanish has the number advantage way over you. I'm sorry. Latin American Spanish, like, it's ridiculous to be like, this is not a real language. That like, what, like 600 million people speak or something like that. So yeah, like, and you get that a lot. People especially where in Spanish there's so much regional vocab that changes, and then people are like, if you think like that, we should be speaking Latin. Dude, I took Latin in high school for 2 years. It was like, because you have compulsory language class, and I was like, again, being a slight contrarian, but I also thought it would be fun too. I'm gonna take Latin, and then the utility that served was tenuous at best, but you do get to see, like everyone says, later on you see the origins of all sorts of words in languages that came from Latin all the way, and you're like, okay, so then you can see stuff in like French, Italian and all that, and they're like Romance languages, Portuguese, and you're like, oh, I see where that came from. Whoop-de-doo. Or it helps me like to go like look back at my spelling bee progress as a kid and go like, oh yeah, those were the connections those words made.
利権
One thing about me, I'm still salty about it to this day. I got 6th place in the state level spelling bee, so I was that close to national. I had issues with French when kid. I took a Latin and it helped me because I saw the source of it. Now I've forgotten all about Latin, but at least I know my French. And I'm sure the Latin I learned but forgot helped me with English too. Yeah, that could definitely be the case. I can only imagine. I want to know like the vocab level in English of someone who studied like ancient Greek and Latin and like German, or and then even French and everything. They're like they must know everything. But then yeah, and the spelling bee. I guess I've forgotten the word at this point, so I guess I'm not that salty. But like I would think it would stick with me. But the big thing was that you always ask when you're actually tryharding. You always ask like the sentence example and everything just to cover your bases. Even though if they ask you, can you spell cat, you're gonna be like, what's the language of origin? What's the definition? And they're like, an animal with whiskers and blah blah blah. And you're like, cat. Hmm. Can you use it in a sentence? They're like, can you pet your bro? Just spell cat. But anyway, like you always ask just to be 100% sure. But then yeah, the language of origin on this word did not follow the quote unquote rules that it usually would. So I spelled it wrong because it was Greek in origin, but then the way it's spelled is not how most words Greek in origin would be spelled. I have the DVD in the house that I'm in the truck obviously, but I think I might go back and watch it for nostalgia's sake. Because it's a funny watch for multiple reasons. Just to see me as a kid, it kind of trips you out sometimes. I'll let you guess how confused I was when learning English and read for the first time in English chat. Probably very. Yes, chat in French. Oh, I missed your last message. You're like everything. Why is everyone? Why are streamers always referring to? Oh man, there's a good pun there somewhere. Streamers must really like cats. I don't know. There's someone can make a funny joke out of that. I don't know if I have the wherewithal to do it now. Hi chat. I can make the connection, but not a funny joke. Dude, don't call me cat. We're not that close. Oh, is that like a pet name as well, or like like a something you might call a significant other or whatever? Because that makes it even funnier. But yeah, at the spelling bee, this one kid, he cried because he knew he had spelled a word wrong, but he didn't finish spelling the word. But there's no take backsies. Once he starts saying letters, it's just whatever you say in order. That's locked in. But so if you say a wrong letter, but you realize you're spelling it wrong, you're fucked. And then this kid already knew he messed up, and he started crying. He was like hitting his head and crying, and then his mom actually like worked for PBS, who was running the spelling bee, and she was like part of the television network, and she had to come up and get him off stage, and all the kids were just kind of like secondhand embarrassment or whatever, because we were on TV, we were on live television. It was being recorded as well, but yeah, live television. And then when we got the DVD, we were very curious and kind of halfway looking forward to it, but they cut it out of the DVD. Pussies. Monchat is like a cute close friend lover's nickname. The trauma of that child. Alright, I'm gonna call you Monchat now. Even though in some ways I would like to fight against parasocialism, but that's like a dream for when. No! What have I done to myself? What was I think I said last stream I was gonna do something else that was gonna annoy you. Unless it was just pinning a random message. It's like the thing about foot. It had something to do with like foot. Oh yeah, foot fetish sizes. I think I pinned that. Stop. I'll remember. But then no, yeah, like I think it's like another one of those things that's like a fantasy I have and may never become something that's actually important. But pushing the whole idea of internet, people not being real friends or relationships. Don't you dare. It blew my mind. I don't know if you know much about like Fauna or Nimi, who has many things that I can't believe became controversies, but one of the ones was just like a streamer telling her chat we're not friends and we shouldn't be friends, and people lost their marbles. They're like, how could you say we're not friends? And it's like, because you're not friends. People do be getting parasocial. Admittedly, in some ways, I can, my brain kind of takes part in that urge to, want to be friends with the streamer, but you gotta kind of fight against it. Numi, the VTuber, no Nimi Nightmare. Or I guess she was Fauna when she said the friend thing. If you type Fauna into Google, do you get the VTuber or like plants? Or the animals, I should say. How far down do I have to scroll to get the VTuber of HoloLive fame? Oh, this far. Yeah, that shit scares me. But yeah, now she is Nimi. Isn't she like on? Yeah, she graduated and she's Nimi now. So she streams as an indie. She graduated from HoloLive. But yeah, the multiple quote unquote controversies around her, or like, little dramas or whatever, are she changed skins. That's a funny way to look at it. Yeah, graduation's a weird kind of thing where uh you no longer act as a certain character, and it's not only that, but then you're no longer associating with all the people that in the company you're with, more collaborations and whatnot. So then everyone cries, and they're like, I don't know how I'm gonna go on living my life, blah blah blah. My favorite VTuber graduated, and then for a lot of them, they just kind of show back up as a different person, and you kind of all pretend like they're a different person. It's kind of weird. Well, it's not kind of weird; it's very weird. But you know, obviously the other thing with her new persona is Nimi. I like VTubers, but I follow very few of them and rarely on stream. Yeah, I'm kind of in that culture for better or worse. Probably worse, but it's where we're at. It's where I'm at. But then her as her new persona, Nimi Nightmare, she's indie now. So in HoloLive, I don't think there's any rule against being like in a relationship or whatever. And some people get like doxxed or outed as being one. But one of the things about the culture is like, if you're, in a relationship, people will call you like a whore and stuff, which is crazy. Sometimes Andrea and one of my friends, who's your friend? Uh, um, but then yeah, she made an announcement that she was married and trying to have a kid, and then so much funny discourse coming from that. FS Rico. All right, I'll type that one down. Check them out later. But then wait, how many viewers was that? Oh, 2 point. Wait. That's a 2.5 million subscribers, hey? Damn. But should make shorts. Golly, I'm losing my train of thought too. Because there's just like, when I think about ways to look down on the VTuber community, the train forks. That's like, there's so many ways to do it. But yeah, the whole thing of like I would really love to honestly interview a lot of the people though who have a problem with the personal lives of VTubers, because I don't understand like the whole thing about viewers being cucks for watching a streamer and stuff,
もどかしい。
because it
気持ちを
genuinely
伝え
puzzles
れ
me.
なくてもどか
Lots
し
of
い。
subs, but not a way to build a community. Is it literally only shorts? Like I said, I think you saw how long it took to open YouTube last time. I'll check them out later, but yeah, if it's only shorts, that is true. Mostly, I don't know how the analytics work on a lot of stuff, but for a time, a lot of streamers were doing like shorts live streams, like live streaming on the YouTube Shorts. We changing that at the moment. Uh, but yeah, I heard it was the meta for a while. Like it was good for numbers, but then it was weird because then you don't see them in the normal tab or something. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's like you're watching a stream, but in a shitty like vertical format. But then I think it's because you get like doom scrollers or people who are just mindlessly scrolling. They can show up on your stream and then I guess stick around if they like what they see. Uh, but it's I don't know. I guess it's a weird format to me because I don't even get it was. Yeah, I guess it's the algorithm's always changing. At some point, I'm gonna have to figure out how to play like the social media game.
ゾウさん、
Zosan. Cause then I don't want to be too numbers obsessed, but cause like when you're here chatting, it's great. I'm chilling, but so far you're still the only one. And then I've got like a couple people who have followed just from the communities I've been in, and I do a couple notifications on different servers, but then no one shows up, which is obviously fine. But I like literally, if I would just have one person come in and chat every other time, that would be fine. But you know, it is what it is. You still need to make at least a bit of numbers to just enjoy it full being live. And I mean, yeah, I'm talking like literally one is totally fine. Like with you here, I'm chilling. But with zero, it's difficult, man. I don't need like 100 or 1,000 concurrent viewers. But then, you know, there's all sorts of weird social media trickery you can pull and posting on stuff to try and get into the discoverability that I guess I should probably learn. I guess fun we talking all, but we'd better if I had a company in the chat. Yeah, I feel that too. Because then I talked about this on other streams as a chatter where you start to kind of feel responsible because then it's like if at any point you stop. Now reread that sentence thinking about the word chat in French. If you had company in the cat. Maybe I'll start replacing chat with cat. I was catting. But yeah, because then if at any point you want to stop and just you know, lurk or whatever, you know that the streamer's talking to themselves and you're like, ah. But that's something I always have to kind of get over because I like to hang out in a lot of, please don't. I like to hang out in a lot of small streams. I think I said that last time too, where you know, I always feel that sensation of them talking to themselves, or like the Japanese teachers I watch where they ask a question and then no one's answering them, so they kind of have to go off of just like answering their own question they just asked about like what a word means, or if it's sad too. They're like, "Do you know this one Japanese cultural thing?" And you know, there's no one there to share in their culture. My water's boiling away, waiting for pasta that will never come. Make your pasta, man. Maybe I should sacrifice my content and just stop talking and just
大い
click
な
on the cards. No, I will never do that. Suguni. Actually, no, I actually don't know that one.
人生
Shinsei. We add it to the list. You're inspiring. Now I'm thinking about French. Maybe I'll pick a little bit back up. It's a whole 9 feet away. Are you typing on phone or PC? Because then you just stand at your counter with your phone and then make pasta and chat. PC. It is a better experience for most things. I do a lot of stuff on phone. And then it's funny because sometimes I'll have my which my laptop is a little shitty, but then, you know, there's some things that are still just kind of better on a keyboard, but then I'm just still on my phone, and I'm like, why am I still using my phone? My laptop's right there. My phone's somewhere in a drawer. In a drawer? Are you not as phone addicted as the rest of the human race by now? It's an interesting sentence to be like, my phone's somewhere in a drawer. That old thing. Utagai bukai, deep suspicion.
疑い深い
Still have 7 new items. Crane. It's Sura. Say again.
制限
Say again. I've thought about doing like a complete tech detox like some people do. Like, I don't even know, maybe like not even a full dumb phone thing, but just like no social media for like a couple weeks type thing. I have 2 phones, a normal one, like the flat tactile thing, is, and a professional one that just calls a message. I only use the professional one. Yeah, that is pretty unique. But that's kind of in many ways what I aspire to, because there have been some people where, again, they kind of go on a hiatus or do like a tech, or just kind of like no social media for months, and you're kind of like, I respect that you can do that, because it's what I think a lot of us want, but don't have the strength to give up. I just had my first phone very late and didn't hook on it. I got mine late compared to my peers, because I think in high school, my parents or my mom never got me my phone. I had to get it with my own money from my job in high school, and it was a cheap like Chinese Android, and I loved that thing once I got it. But I wasn't like addicted to it, but because man, like, I guess I was in a somewhere in high school when smartphones became as ubiquitous. Like when I was in middle school, they started to exist, but if you had an iPhone, you were like, you were one of the cool kids or rich kids for sure. Mainly because first one I had, I was like, wow, I can do all I can do on my computers, but worse, and with my thumbs fighting each other. I was kind of the same where, well, early phones, I liked the tactile keyboard, like sidekicks and Blackberries. So even my first phone, people made fun of me for having it because it was a sidekick. Uh, but yeah, I liked the tactile keyboard. And then for a long time, still to this day, I don't type that well on my phone screen. Like I make typos constantly that I have to go back and fix. And I guess maybe I could start doing like the whole swiping thing. It always seemed kind of weird to me, but maybe I should adopt it because I suck at typing. Can't type for shit. Yeah, I can't type on a phone very well either. Type probably slightly above average on a normal keyboard because I learned as a pretty small child how to type properly, but on a phone it just never came. Although my friends, I think a lot of people are on autocorrect because I've seen my friend type without autocorrect and it's kind of sad actually. Because like bro literally cannot spell. Even like with full control of the keyboard, he just doesn't know how to spell words, I think. The whole sentence I'm typing right now would take me around 10 seconds, if not more. Skill issue. We share the same skill issue. Juzai.
重罪
Shinshun.
新
Shinshun.
春
I feel like there's a lot of ways to say New Year. Taiman.
怠慢
Cormorant. A lot of birds in this list. Oh. Oh, this is new, but I already forgot it. Ichibuki.
一別
Ichibetsu, not
彼女は
Ichibuki. Finish all your due cards. I guess I'll hit the new ones. We still got a lot of time. We're not made for phones. Yeah, we're definitely not. Definitely a philosophy I want to mark, or have some influence in spreading is that the human brain is built like I think there's some things that are just hardwired, and even going back to the whole parasocial thing or whatever. I think a lot of stuff I witnessed happen as a teenager, or to my brother who made quote unquote friends on Tumblr who are not his friends, and then obviously in the streamer culture with parasocialism and stuff, or people get into communities on Discord, but then someone goes on hiatus or graduates, and then they don't know, like or like, a streamer doesn't read their chat, and they're used to the streamer reading their chat, and they freak out or whatever. People are like, a lot of people do not realize still that the human brain expects flesh and blood in its space, like in your face. And I just think there's no getting around that to maintain a certain connection that is actually essential to most of the human race. Like the same way water, air, exercise, movement, love. There's some things that seem pretty much hardwired and not workable around. Oh yeah, the other one, my friend would make quote unquote friends on League of Legends, and like the thing is too is one of the big things, it's not like people don't care. I think people can genuinely try and be your friend online, but then they're online, so they don't always have that connection, or they kind of, it feels like they forget about you or something, like they can't be there for you like a friend can, and then so you feel like more isolated or betrayed after the fact. Because like my friend would make friends on League, and he would say like, oh, we talked all night about this, like, and they understand me on this, and we play these custom games, but then like, as almost always happens, it's like they abandon them, even though it's not intentional. It's just kind of how things go, and then it's like they were not your friend, at least not in a way that is substantial or productive. There's a thing that I like and hate in France right now. We just passed a law that say it's illegal for kids under 15 to be on social media. And I prove it's not a bad thing to protect children, right? That they use that law together and trying to make you register. How you go on fucking Instagram or Twitter? That's going on through the whole world right now. I think Australia's getting the short end of that stick too. And like I was saying earlier too on the other stream, I was talking like in the U.S. they're mostly just hitting us with that when it comes to the porn, where it's like, put in your ID, and I'm like, I mean, fam, I can get this anywhere else. And it's just kind of funny to put in your ID for that kind of thing. So you're like, I don't know about that. I know everyone has my info anyway, but It just kind of adds to the degeneracy to be like, here, government, track my face so I can jerk off, like, uh, you know, but because the whole philosophy of it just makes no sense to me. We gotta undo the mistakes so the good choices are made later. Are we just unlucky? Yeah, and then I don't know, just the internet is, I don't know if you can even regulate it. We need to like turn back society a couple turns for sure. But the whole like the way they're stopping kids, like I don't know, like maybe we just need no internet. We need to not go full caveman, but we need to find a middle ground. We've gone too far in many aspects of society. Okotta kao. Okotta? Okotta nai yo. Yorokobashi. Yorokobashi.
喜ばし
Ikkaiten.
い。一回転。
Oh, ichikaiten. Kokitsuskao. All of these are kind of easy. Yokoyari. I've been waiting to have yari show up because I learned this and it means spear. Sideways interruption or sideways spear to get interruption, huh? Wakai, not Wakan. Don't remember Wakan. I don't know why that word's in my head. Probably because we're talking about porn. Wait, is that how you... Was that the reading? That's not the... How far do I have to go to get Wakan? Oh, there it is. Consensual intercourse. Wakai. Or I was talking about porn. You were just talking about, like, internet verification in general for social media. I have been hearing about a lot of people who are trying to go, like, full, return to, a cutback on technology. Even as kids, like, they're trying to take back the third spaces and meet up in person and stuff. And if that's true, that's a movement I'm all about. I think internet anonymity should not be absolute, but real identity should not be reachable easily either. Like, you should need a court order or something to access the ID to link to an account, no way. Or no other way. Yeah. 80% of internet is porn. Is it really 80%? I mean, I guess I wouldn't be that surprised. But yeah, yeah, anonymity is, I think anonymity slightly annoys me in that, well, because it goes back to the whole thing where I think people say things that they shouldn't say to other human beings because we're all anonymous, but then the other people on the screen are people. So, like, they're rude to each other in video games or on Twitter and stuff, or like I always keep saying, like, they tell a VTuber, like, some really offensive sexual comment towards another human being. I took the number in there, but I feel like it's lower than the actual thing. I've seen numbers on it before, which I don't know how they track, but I guess they do. But, telling a stranger that's a VTuber that outright, like they made it a meme. They're like, I've lost gallons to you. And I'm like, that's really a disgusting thing to say to someone. But, it's the power of the internet. You can say that to someone. And, I guess the community is going to laugh and make it a meme. I really don't think it's very funny, but I'm going to take a few bites out of this chocolate cookie. Pretty damn good cookie, actually. That's how I see it. Oh, why did I close my stream manager? I can't see your chat. Where'd we go? Okay, the era of chaos before the era of reason. And that's how I see it. Yeah, I definitely want to try and push the culture more towards understanding how anonymity has shaped our behavior towards each other. Because I think people understand it, but don't appreciate what I consider to be the severity of it. Oh, I want to get a soda. Oh, last time though, I spilled the soda. The way I was I had it precarious. It's hard for me with the setup of my sleeper cab to put a soda somewhere where I can stream comfortably, but then not potentially knock it down. And spilling a soda in here is a bitch to clean up because there's nooks and crannies it's gonna fall in. Last time I did it, I was so mad at myself. I might try though, or I might just like sit up and move my laptop in a way where I can still be near this mic the way I've got it like clipped. I always compare internet evolution like any other popular thing evolution, especially cars willing to reach others before learning to make breaks. Chaos before reason. I think you used that analogy last stream too, and I still agree with it. Cars actually too, and I friend if my friends ever heard me, I can hurt a lot of feelings fast because I'm like one little culture subculture I really kind of disrespect is like cars, like people who are really into cars or supercars or like modding their cars and because then it so quickly expands into people who drive in traffic without respect for safety. Cars is crazy how fast they got popular, and then yeah, now especially you know again talking about American culture, but we have to have cars to work and stuff. It's a tragedy. It's one of the big things I think I find very sad. But then yeah, like my friend was really into cars, and then but you see so much stuff where people have no regards for safety. But I also just find a lot of this stuff just stupid. In less than 40 years, humanity replaced horse that they had for centuries and centuries. Cars are, I mean, to admittedly, horses are. Imagine if we had horses in the numbers that we currently have cars. Think of all the shitting they'd be doing in the streets. Ugh. All the hay we would need to grow to feed them. But uh so much of like the mod you see so many like YouTube shorts and or like YouTube comment on influencers who are driving like a modded car and then like a cop is like behind them and then they get all scared and then they're all worried about the cop pulling them over and I'm like, well, you could just obey the law and drive a car that's not modded illegally. And then they get into like, oh, you're a bootlicker and stuff and I'm like, well, no, it's just a lot of laws, it's just easy to follow instead of breaking them to have a car that's cool. um because like uh no, you want to be scared looking at phantom braking. All right, as soon as I get myself sat again in a way where I can turn myself towards my laptop, I will look it up because I'm sit very awkwardly now to try and figure out where to place this soda. Oh, um, a thing just made illegal to not have in a car. Oh, okay, this will be weird, but I think I can do this. And hopefully, too, I had my microphone clipped in a very specific spot. Oh, you might hear some rustling now. I just accidentally unclipped it. But yeah, I was tweaking all the levels and stuff because it's like kind of cheap. And then when the trucks are idling next to me and stuff, which they almost always are because people just idle nonstop, like I did the best I could to sound okay on mic. But then, so I feel like if I'm going to move around, it's going to make it sound much worse. And we just now realize it's dangerous. Okay, phantom braking. But yeah, the whole aspect of I really wish people would not really look at driving as something that's fun. Even though driving is incidentally fun, and I made it, I'm a truck driver, so. Oh no, what did it? Okay, we're back. The microphone is once again clipped. Oh, but yeah, I'm a truck driver, so it's like I do enjoy aspects of driving, and driving is incidentally fun. I use the word incidentally careful because it is still something that is very serious, and it's something we have to do. And the consequences of driving are obviously on the environment and on killing people and blah blah blah. It's a very serious thing, but then yeah, people see it as like a fun or a sport, and it offends my sensibilities. Okay, this too. So my truck has adaptive cruise control, where it controls the speed based on what it can tell is the speed of like the vehicle in front of you, which is useful. And I don't know if it's the same as what this is talking about, but there are times when the radar is tripping because it thinks like a wall that I'm not even approaching or it thinks a car that's somewhere else is like I'm about to hit it, and it freaks out. And it usually does not give me an issue, but there have been times where it starts slowing down for nothing, or uh, there was also another case where I was unloading at a site, and some guy was technically in front of me, even though I was barely moving, and it thought I was about to run over a human being, so it slammed on the brakes by itself, and then I think it triggered the camera too, so probably got sent to somewhere, someone in the company or someone in some law enforcement office had to take a look to realize I was not literally about to run someone over, but um, so it seems like there's a big problem in Tesla. At least the AI thought so, and then the first result I get on is Reddit, r/Tesla Motors. And it seems like it is similar to what I'm talking about. It doesn't do this though, due to a speed limit. Sometimes my truck will read a speed limit sign, but all it does is display it in the driving assistance. It says, and it's usually correct, but it reads the sign on like the frontage when I'm still on the highway, but it says like, oh, it's 45 miles per hour when it's still like 70. It has been proven real, and not only in Tesla. Well, yeah, it's definitely real because the radars can make mistakes. And like I say, and my truck does it a few times, but it has never been a big problem. It's usually just an annoyance. I even asked them during my orientation because they were talking about some of the assistant things in the newfangled trucks, and I was like, I asked them, has it ever arrested control from a driver and caused an issue that otherwise would not have happened? And they said no. Uh, Sometimes I wonder if they just said that because there's a lot of things that they just kind of said which I don't believe are true in orientation. Funny thing, in France we have tunnels whose light are at headlight height, and the auto brake takes the light of the tunnels for headlights coming in front of you. Yep, that definitely seems like an oversight in the system. Take some more bites out of my cookie here. I am sat a little uncomfortably. Cars coming the other one on a non-divided road. Yeah, it's funny to me. People just trust the full self-driving in their Teslas. I don't know if in my lifetime well, actually, I could see that self-changing for me depending on stats and stuff. But right now, for sure, I don't think I could ever be comfortable in a car that's driving itself. Moroku. I'm gonna write that note down for a daily. I don't know if I've done a word that's like senility yet. Even though I think there was a word a lot like that that's more common that has to do. It's like where bokeh comes from, like bokeru. Let me see. Moroku. Oh, is this not common, or did I write it wrong? Am I crazy? Because sometimes it's a pretty obscure word that my IME does not want to write just because of how obscure it is. So no, I definitely read it right. Moroku. Like, are you seeing this? Can it not type this word, man? This is the fun of Japanese, is like typing a word and then having to scroll to see if it can give you what you're actually trying to type. All only trust being in self-driving car, the cars are also self-driving. Have you ever seen those simulations people do where it's like, in a computer, like if every car was automated, then we could all just avoid each other. There would be no need for like stoplights or even intersections or roads and stuff. They can all just like everything could be part of one big swarm that goes everywhere efficiently. And you see the simulations and you're like, that's fascinating. I don't understand a thing on your screen. Dude, one of these days I'll influence someone like someone will be learning Japanese by osmosis and then be inspired or. But yeah, the way it works is I have a normal keyboard, obviously. So like, well, if I hit a keyword, or like a shortcut, I can type, you know, English, like the Latin alphabet. But then if I hit the one for hiragana, you can see like if I hit this M, it shows up like an M. But then if I hit the A for ma, now it gives me the Japanese character for ma. Uh, so then if I hit the N, you'll see the N. But if I hit another one, now it's mon. But then the fun part comes in. I hit spacebar, and if I'm trying to get the kanji like this, that's an option. But there's also another one, which means something else right here. So this can mean like 10,000. Down for some German. I want to learn German. German is pretty. I've dipped my toes in German. My buddy actually he has German ancestry and he took German in school for a while and like visited and stuff. But definitely one of the ones I want to take seriously in a couple years down the road. It's just I can only study so many things at once. I did listen to an audiobook that was frustrating because it was so repetitive. And at the intro in the audiobook, he was like, I encourage you to go back and repeat sections, and you don't need to focus too much on getting anything down. Just be comfortable with forgetting things and repeating. So I thought he was going to be like fast paced because he was like, we're going to go back and like, you know, he was establishing like the pacing of it. And I was like, okay, let's go. But then it was just so slow and repetitive. And like, after all is said and done, I guess I didn't, maybe more would have stuck with me, but there wasn't that much to stick with because now I can just say like, ich möchte, oh, now I've even forgotten that. Ein Doppelzimmer. Entschuldigen Sie, der erste Straße. Wo ist der Campingplatz? And then, oh, what was the other one? It was like, I almost have learned more German just from listening to the German music I like. Like, Zweiraumwohnung, pasta in the water. Let's go. And then, who else do I like this German? I think Morgan Wallen. Was it Morgan Wallen? I don't know. She had songs old Wiedergange. Oh, Falco too. And then, of course, 1, 2, Polizei. 3, 4, Grenadier. 5, 6, Alte Keks. 7, 8, Gute Nacht. Spoons, 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 spoons. The only German I know is from Bannissable Jokes. Bannissable. As in something that'll get me banned, or is that the name of like a channel? Oh yeah, I almost memorized. I guess I've forgotten it, but meine Mama macht hier ein Furf. Oh, I did forget it. Wenn ich have Cola trinken darf. Wie cool ist das bitte? Banish. Oh, banishable. Banish is English. It's 5 a.m. Banishable jokes. A joke that would get me banned. uh, but yeah, this mon means like 10,000. This one means like full, so it can be used like to mean like satisfied or full of something. But depending on what word I want, you know, I can scroll through at the options. Oh, and then I forgot about this. There you go. This won't get me banned, will it? I forgot I can type that in Japanese. I just slammed the word in French in the case it was a case of the same word, the same way to spell it, not to say it. Well, now I know how to say it in French. Balisable. That was like not even a French accent. It was like a weird Spanish accent. Moroku. So yeah, usually if I get a word that's like I can't even type, it's not common enough for me to like post the daily words list until really until this simple part it was good. Yeah, one of these days You're inspiring me to go relearn French pronunciation. Because it's fun, even if I don't know a language, I want to be able to like pronounce what I read. So let me get Moroku again and then actually click on the usage because it might be too obscure to write down in the daily words list. Wakai.
若い。
Oh, I
僕は
unplugged my
彼らを
headphone.
和解させてくれるように彼に頼んだ。
Say blah and then just slap an L in there. Blah. Sa blah. Oh yeah, so you do like have to do the like in English it would just be ol, but blah. Perfect. Good to know. I also heard that was another stereotype of French I heard, or maybe it was German, but maybe it was also French, where a lot of people try it out and then they just get like iced by the native Frenchmen. Like they're like, your French is not worthy of interacting with. We're just gonna speak English. Maru
まる
maru.
まる
Maru maru. I'll just keep speaking the Japanese on the cards because you can't tell me that it sounds bad, even though I know it does. I already forgot this. Something yari. Oh yeah, yoku yari. Yoku yari.
横やり
Yoku yari. Re.
礼
Re. Yorokobashi.
喜ばしい
So because French with an English accent is really hard to understand. I'm sure it is. But yeah, I was hearing from something. I think they were talking about German in that one anecdote I was thinking of where uh the German or it was like they were learning German and they said so many Germans they talked to were like, your German is trash. Like they were actually just like rude about it. And I was like, that sounds weird. We French are rude sometimes because we're a bit too honest. See, that's my vibe though. I think if like a French was like, your French is shit, I would be like, thank you, finally. Because I get so tired of people placating language learners and being like, your accent's perfect when it's not, and then, you know, they never learn. There's difference. There's a thin line that nobody seems to stay on of like being encouraging to a learner but letting them know of their mistakes, especially to Japanese speakers learning English. If we don't feel like doing something to make an effort, we'll say it. I like that.
怒った顔
Okay, so I click on this. Oh no, I guess I have to do this
Moroku.
first. Moroku. Because this kanji it's used commonly enough, but I can't type it. But this is always fun. I still don't get how this works, where a kanji shows up and it's like the meaning is blank. So then I put it somewhere else, and then sometimes some other dictionary I don't use will give a meaning. But then sometimes, yeah, they'll just be like, this kanji has no meaning, even though it's used in a word that means something. Befuddled, confused, standard Chinese. See, these are Chinese dictionaries. I gotta do the old trick to get Japanese results. Ask the government. The government doesn't always. These are the Japanese government. They don't always make. There is like a body that standardizes the kanji use and like meanings and stuff, but that happens every so many years, I believe. Oiru. Oiboreru. Oh, so that is the other one I was thinking of. Or I forgot to type in. I think I was thinking bokeru. To grow senile. So yeah, this is pretty common because also bokeh is just like a pretty common slang word, so I might still use it because I don't know, it's used in 287 uh like pieces of data on the site, so
猛録
maybe I'll just blame my software on not being able to type it. Intai. I'll type that one down too. Typed that one, no problem. Or actually, because I know you can add a word if if like I forget how to do it though. Well, what the heck? Does right clicking delete it? Oh, okay, check spelling. I forget how to do it, but I can add a word to the database. Like, but I forget how. Hajimeru. Too many of these are like freebies right now. Men mitsu. Arai zarashi. Like that's easy to read, but I guess the meaning's new, so I'll keep it. Anken. And not sponsored. It's a different Anken. Kaching. You have your pasta. What's in it? Unless it's literally just plain pasta. Ure okumu. Water. What are you gonna put in it? Barbecue sauce. Richi. Sauce I left from earlier. Oh, there you go. No meat, no vegetables. One thing I miss is cooking. Because you can do cooking in a truck, but it's just too much trouble. So it hurts like your nutrition and stuff to always be eating slop or like, the stuff you can get, but it's also I miss cooking a lot of times. It's fun. Ryuyo. Ryuyo.
流用
Ryuyo. It's funny, I'm decent at guessing the pitch accent on words. Misappropriation. Reuse. Recycling. That could maybe do.
引
Kintai.
退
Intai. Bell pepper and tomato sauce, a lot of cheese. I'm not as much of a cheese guy, actually. Bell pepper also, I've never liked bell peppers. And they're in like everything, especially a lot of Mexican cuisine, which is one reason I'm not a fan of Mexican cuisine in general. A shame to my people. Keirio. Kogataka. I can be bell pepper raw? Yeah, no thanks. The one fun thing about bell pepper is they're really easy to cut. And then it's like if I liked to cut them up at work in the particular way because then I could cap them and then pull out all the seeds and stuff. It was very satisfying to tear it out and then like uh pick out the like white fleshy parts from the inside. It was just satisfying. It had a good like tactile feeling. I always the I always thought bell peppers were like fake because it's like you would as a kid like you ever have those plastic kitchens or like play sets and then you have like a bunch of fake food, but like fake plastic bell peppers are so close to like real bell peppers. So like I would see real bell peppers in the grocery store and I'm like, why do they have big ass bins of like fake bell peppers? I see what you're talking about. Yeah, they're like plasticky. Richi,
立地
richi, ure okumu.
腕を組む
Some easier words.
カチン
Kaching. Anken.
案件
I also wonder,
洗いざらい
because over here, it's going to look weird on stream because I have it in a different workspace right now. You'll only see half of it. But yeah, this book that I'm making my way through, I wonder the legality of like reading through a book that I had to buy or like that's like copyrighted on stream if I was making money. Like I have a feeling you probably can't do that. Especially the Japanese. It seems like they would have a culture of like litigating my ass if they found out. Just taking one in the fridge and dropping a big chomp on it. Couldn't be me. But yeah, like I might because if I want to do some reading, there's a huge resource of like copyright free books, like old public domain Japanese books. So I might get into those because I'm doing that book, but I have a feeling it's probably not legal to just read copyrighted material out on stream. I ate a lot of raw veggies actually. Am I weird? It's uncommon. Not that weird though. Depending on which veggies though, because there's some that I would be like, yeah, that's weird. Like I'm trying to think. Like, would I eat like a raw Brussels sprout or like I love Brussels sprouts or like raw asparagus seems unpleasant. Actually, a lot of raw veggies do seem unpleasant. I don't know if I would say weird, but I would. So you would do Brussels sprout? Yeah, I don't know. Like carrot's a freebie, obviously. You know, anyone would eat a raw carrot. Uh, I know a lot of people are in the tomatoes, can't stand tomatoes, but yeah, you eat those raw a lot, like cherry tomatoes especially. They're kind of meant to be eaten raw. In the eyes of God, sir, surely. Kogataka.
小型か。
Kogataka. Asparagus, I like it, but I feel like not more than one. Keiryou.
軽
Oh
量
no, my laptop's tilting. This mattress I'm on is comfy, but like the edges are not that supportive, so they dip down too much and stuff kind of starts to fall. Like carrot. Yeah, almost anyone could eat a carrot raw. Raw carrot peak, but only one. Oh, oh yeah. Are baby carrots common over there in Paris? That seems kind of like something that you might only see in America. I don't know why. Because it's funny, it's like you think about it for 2 seconds, and you're like, yeah, it's just a bunch of cut up carrot, but they're fun to eat. Not that much. Another thing too is like I never really saw the multicolored carrots that much, but then it's just funny where we pick out or even color like artificially the carrots to all look orange when we don't have to. And then you see in a store they're like the multicolored carrots, and it's just like that's just how they grow in nature. And you're like, really? So much food is not how we get it in the store. It's like an apero thing. Apero? I don't know how to type the accent. Quintessential French social ritual of enjoying drinks and light snacks in the early evening. Typically when 6 and 8. Dude, I'm fucking learning. I love it. Unwind over a cocktail or two and a few snacks. No drinking for me. In my truck, that is. I'm like halfway sober. Every couple of weeks I go home and then I'll have some drinks. But I spent most of my life sober, which is pretty much fine. There are so many times, more and more as time goes on, where anytime, I start drinking or whatever, it's not too long before I'm like, I miss being sober. And then I'm sober again and I'm like chilling. I'm like, dude, being sober is pretty sick.
喜ばしい
Yorokobashi. Like a board of cheese, charcuterie, and some veggies to snack like small carrots. I remember my buddy was like, at one point for some reason determined to like do a little tiny charcuterie party all to ourselves. And then like him and his girlfriend put like some charcuterie boards together, and then we were just kind of eating it in the kitchen. It felt pretty silly because like we didn't have an event around it. It was just like he was like, I wanted to make charcuterie. I was like, all right. I don't like the feeling of being drunk. Yeah, like I like to get buzzed still, mostly. Definitely not like
流
drunk.
用
Being drunk is just like I said, being in the like the full state of mind as a standard is just it's fun to live life. Okotta kao.
怒った顔
Men mitsu. Light buzz I can enjoy if it's a nice social context. Yeah, I'll do it even in a social context, but dude, if I'm just by myself, I can like it helps me lock into like a movie or something in a really specific way that's really fun actually.
綿密
I could definitely see in a where like an alternate reality, definitely being like addicted to some drug for sure. Like I don't even know, Adderall or something. Maybe a little fentanyl here and there. That's a joke. Oh, wakai.
若い
Yokoyari.
横やり
Yokoyari. Keep it healthy, that's all. It helps them get it. Time limit. I'm a pretty Well, I was about to say chemical free, but that's a bald-faced lie. I'm addicted to a lot of stuff. Like especially just like, natural drugs, like whatever you get from, I was gonna say jerking off, but then even like sugar. I've gotta work over like a sweetness addiction or sugar addiction for sure. I've been actually working on it recently, but only addiction I ever had is sugar. Yeah, you and me both, man.
タイムリミッ
And I'm well out of it now. Good. もうろく.
トもう録
But like, there are some things where never done drugs. Yeah, pretty much never done them myself. Uh, uh, and I mean, as far as a percentage of all of them, like it's very slim. But uh, like where if I hit a good stretch, or like after an orgasm or something, uh, I don't know if you call them the aftershocks or whatever, but I'm just sitting there in bliss for like a solid 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, man, if this is what drugs are like, I definitely actually should never try them because I would just make this my life, just sitting there in like bliss. So, luckily, masturbation does that pretty well. Uh, in a way that's like not gonna destroy my life. I can't tell if that's Susu or Zuzu.
ズうずうしい
Oh, it was Zuzu. And I mean, literally, I can just barely read the doc then. Maybe I should zoom in. How will it look on stream if I zoom in? I guess that's okay. Because then I can just scroll to see all this stuff. But I get that bliss easy. I'm easily happy about what I do. I complete a task out. I got that bliss for like 30 seconds. That's good. But yeah, I'm talking about like a pretty extended amount of time where I'm just like zoned out, lying down. I'm like, yeah, this could be too powerful. Jirori to miru. My brain actually gives me dopamine when I complete a task. Well, I think it does to all of us, but I can definitely see like it can have a more like if you had like a more physical effect or like a strong feeling from it. Sipping on that zero sugar root beer. Yeah, I gotta remember to chug this and finish it, especially so I don't knock it down later, because I will knock it down probably. That is lucky. Because from what I can see, a lot of people do not feel the same way. Wakari ni kui. I'm gonna say I'll never forget that. That's a freebie. Nintai.
引
Kintai.
退
Intai.
彼が引退を
Shisatsu. Sagyogi. Fatigues is a funny word. I feel like you never really hear that much. Taeru.
耐える
Taeru. Kansoka.
簡素化
Kansoka.
簡素化メニューを大幅に
Oh, mata. Have I not done 20 new cards, or is it like I'm pacing it so slowly that it's just giving me more than 20? Dokushin. Bachelorhood. Richi.
立地
Itoshi. Kekkonen bere.
案件
Anken. Kachin. Zuzushi.
ずうずうしい
Ure o kumu.
腕を組む
Ude o kumu. Jirori to miru.
じろりと見る
Mushikais. Ooh. I love this little abstract meaning here. That's getting written down. I don't always get to farm so many stuff that I would put in the daily words list on the Discord. Not my own Discord, but other Discords I'm a part of where I do the daily words. But a lot of times I just hit the cards, but it's nothing I really I would never like spread in the daily, so then it doesn't feel as productive. But I love and I'm able to like farm them like this. Chakas. To me, it's all Minecraft enchanting table language. We'll get there through osmosis. One day you'll just suddenly be speaking Japanese, and you won't know what hit you.
引退
Sagyogi.
作業着
I'm somewhat a believer in that, or like it's interesting to me because there's a lot of people who watch Hololive or VTubers, and then they don't study, or it's like there's some stuff where obviously if you don't study it, you're never gonna like actually learn the language, but there's some stuff you just kind of pick up, I would think, or if you did the slightest bit of study, it could help you start to pick up stuff if you're gonna be watching Hololive anyway, because there'll be people that I've watched for a long time, but then like they're like, what's this one thing mean? But it's just like a very common slang word, and you're like, you hear this in every stream. So I feel like if you're watching Hololive, like, the Japanese member, like even with if the collabs and the Japanese members, there's some stuff you would just know over time. Or if you're gonna be interfacing with the culture, I feel like doing a little bit of study of the language would be very fulfilling. At least it is for me. I guess not everyone feels the same.
視察
Shisatsu. Kogata ka. Oh no, I dropped my hair tie because I was playing with it.
小型化
Kekkon nende.
結婚年齢
Kekkon nende. Arai zarashi.
洗いざらい
Arai zarai.
独
Dokushin.
身
Omata.
大股
Taeru.
耐える
Although that is a thing, like the human brain loves to communicate so much that it just learns that automatically at the time. Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing, like, why I think a lot of people underestimate their ability to learn language. Because I'm like, well, I think if you just do it, it's just kind of automatic, you know? But then people are like, it's the same. I was saying earlier how, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just into anime. And the same thing with VTubers. A lot of people are like, well, I watch a lot of the Japanese VTubers, but if you do zero study, then you'll never pick it up because then you're just reading the English subtitles, And the brain's pretty good at learning language, but if you do like no foundation or like no study, then it's not that good. Because yeah, like if we all learned Japanese just from watching anime, the whole fucking country would speak, or like the whole world would speak Japanese because of how much all of us like seem to just watch anime, except for me. I once did an escape game with people I did not know and did not speak English very bad at French in its peak. We learned to communicate with actually knowing each other language. That's fun. Because I've had to do that with coworkers and stuff. Well, I had a couple deaf coworkers at work, and that was fun. I made pretty good friends with one. I helped build a PC of his, and then help him out with a couple things. And we mostly like, we'll just type stuff out on each other's phones to look at.
茶化す
I was good enough friends with him one point. I was like, man, maybe I should learn sign language and properly communicate with him.
計量
Because it wasn't even just him that worked there. There was I think it was also his girlfriend was also deaf, and she worked at the same Texas Roadhouse. Wait, did it say I knocked out my? Oh, I did get my daily quota of 20 new cards. Total known non-redundant vocabulary 11,970. I wonder how much that's inflated. Ushikais.
蒸し返す
Because yeah, when I'm listening to
流用
content, if I really break down all the words in a sentence in Japanese, it's like I know almost all of them, but I do need the practical ability to like piece it together real time. But like I keep excusing myself with on the stream, at least. I just think watching it all on the laptop might be a little too much. We learned very basic sign language with my best friend so we can talk to each other and know if we want to leave a party or something. Was it like actually like a... Well, I was going to say ASL, but that's American Sign Language. I don't know if there's like an ESL for European Sign Language, not English Sign Language, but... Or was it just like a secret code? amongst your friends. Because, yeah, I would like to actually speak ASL, or sign ASL, I guess I should say. 2 hours. LSF. Not live stream fails. Ha, see, live stream fails came first. French Sign Language. Langue de sign française. No, this is what you meant. IBM Spectrum LSF. A software job scheduler. Laser stimulated fluorescence. Lightweight steel framing. Line spectral frequencies. French Sign Language. Yeah, I saw it. One of my buddies, he was like, I think he had a deaf or mute girlfriend for a little bit, or I don't know if she was a girlfriend or just someone he was like messing with. But he always said that he like knew sign language, but he only knew the letters. Like he would just like spell words out with his hands, but he didn't know like, actually know any of the signs out besides the letters. And I was like, I don't think that means you know sign language, man. It works, it works. If it works, it works. Yeah, but I guess I don't know. Like when you say that you know sign language, I feel like that means, you know the full corpus or the I feel like you know what I mean. Worse, I mean in high school, I remember someone was asking us like if you know sign language, and then one of my friends was like, "Yeah, I know sign language." I was like, "What the fuck? You know sign language?" And he was like, he held up his hands and did one signal, and then I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "I think that's the letter R." And I'm like, "So you think you know one letter in sign language?" I was like, "You can't say you know sign language, you little fuck." Everyone's always gassing up their numbers on what they know. Hmm. Yeah, so I guess I'll try to maybe end it around this point. Oh, I forget. Well, I guess let me see who's live, and then I'll try and do my first ever raid. But I think I have to go to the web browser manager to do that. So I might lose the chat for a second, even though I'll just be talking. But let me see if I can. I guess I'll close that. Oh no, wait, I can do it from the app. I don't know why I said I was gonna have to open up the browser. Let me see if I can do it from the app, because the app is a little weird. But let's see. Oh, let me do this. Close the manager, reopen it. I'm a little shit in those contexts, I'd say. Quick actions. Is a raid a quick action? Okay. I think that must be raid. Okay. I see some people that I would like to. Oops. Okay, my friend Axercos. Yeah, I know in certain languages they talk to me and ask me about it, and I'd go, I said I know about it, not I know how to speak it. Alright, I'm gonna send us to someone. Let me know if you wanna just get rated into someone I follow, or if you have anyone in mind, or if there's anything. Gotcha. Actually, no, I know how I'll rate. I'll rate Lupus, because Lupus he has good yap and engagement. So if you want to hit him with a few chats, he'll give you some response. So I guess I'll ride along. Yeah, let's rate Lupus. Let me see. Go back to the actions. Thanks for streaming. No problem. It was fun. It was really fun. I do appreciate you greatly. And then anyone who maybe was working alongside or was watching the VOD in the future or the past with magic powers. All right. Let me just click on him and see what happens. Start raid. Is it doing anything? Or did I click it wrong? You already have a raid in progress. Chat. Oh, I can just type the /raid. So if I hit raid now, or is there a timer? Oh, I think I must have to hit raid now. No, you good. Don't worry. It's on. Okay, so I guess it's on me to just like click it. All right. Cheers, y'all. I hit raid now. Am I still streaming? I guess I have to hit stop streaming from here.